At the same time, releasing this number where they accidentally had sent Ukraine $6 billion. Remember that?
Yeah, they said, oh, well, we lost track of this $6 billion. And so now that we've found it because of some accounting error, now we can go and send it to Ukraine.
And they were automatically assuming they were going to send that anyway.
Of
we're
course.
going to be sending more.
Of course.
But no consideration at all.
No, I remember specifically when the fires had just happened.
Joe Rogan is continuing his rampage with the Joe Rogan Experience, bringing on great guests and just tackling these great topics, destroying the woke cult over and over again, destroying the woke military we saw in a previous clip. And now Joe Rogan is attacking the woke government for the way that they're using their funding and using our tax dollars for just absolute nonsense. This tweet is from Eric Abinante. It says, Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Rogan noting the victims of the Lahaina fire received less support from the Biden administration than illegals or Ukraine. Joe Rogan says the most insulting thing was a $700 one-time payment from the government at the same time where they accidentally sent Ukraine $6 billion. Remember that? But yet they're flying people around on airplanes that illegally come through the border. How much does that cost? And then Tulsi Gabbard says multi-billions of dollars. Tulsi then highlights how the $700 payment cedes the rights of land ownership to the government. One of the best representations of Ronald Reagan's joke. The most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. That $700 deal is a deal with the devil of the Biden administration. Let's check out this clip here from Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Rogan over on the Joe Rogan Experience.
How long has it been now?
August will be 1 year. August 8th.
The most insulting thing was the $700 one-time payment from the government. That is, who said yes to that? Who allowed that? And at the same time, releasing this number where they accidentally had sent Ukraine $6 billion. Remember that?
Yeah, they said, oh, well, we lost track of this $6 billion. And so now that we've found it because of some accounting error, now we can go and send it to Ukraine.
And they were automatically assuming they were going to send that anyway.
We're
going to be sending more.
Of course.
But no consideration at all.
No, I remember specifically when the fires had just happened,
Well, dude, I mean, there's so many ways you can spin this as well. And it's none of them is positive. We're helping other countries so much. We're helping these other countries in the Middle East. We're helping Ukraine, sending all this money over there. United States, citizens' tax dollars, mine and your tax dollars. And yet there's homeless veterans on the street. There's cities like San Francisco and New York and these other woke cities that have an extremely bad homeless problem of United States citizens. And yet we're helping these immigrants come through the southern border and just come in from all over the place. And we're giving them all this money. And then, there's the fires that they gave $700, one-time $700 payment. And then we're giving Ukraine $6 billion around the same time. We're helping, like I said, stoke the flames of this war that's happening in the Middle East instead of helping American citizens when they need them. Like I said, huge homeless veteran problem. And yet we're not worried about them. We're worried about Ukraine and we're worried about these immigrants that are coming in and helping them as much as possible.
White House brought in the director of FEMA to talk to the White House press corps, and someone asked the question, what are you, FEMA, what are you actually doing for the people who've been impacted by this tragedy? And the director stood there with a straight face and proudly said, well, we have provided a one-time payment of $700 to everyone who has been impacted by this fire, displaced by this fire. And that was her big announcement that she was there to make. One single one-time payment of $700.
So that means you have 700 servings of ramen.
Basically. I mean, you can't even rent a bedroom in someone's house for $700. It's
certainly you can't for 8 months.
No.
That's what's crazy.
No.
$700 is so crazy. It's just such an insulting and ridiculous number.
We got more than that for like the COVID stuff. What were they called? Not stipends. I forgot what it was called, but we got more than that for COVID, and our houses weren't burned down. Most of us couldn't work, or a lot of us couldn't work. Some people had remote jobs and stuff like that. Maybe you had an essential job or whatever, but at least we still had a roof over our head. Hopefully people had savings and stuff. We got more than that for COVID, which you can feel however you want to feel about that. The more important issue here to me is the way our tax dollars are being used. That's the more important issue here to me, and the more infuriating part of this. Like, mine and your tax dollars are being funneled over to Ukraine and the Middle East and helping illegal immigrants and immigrants coming to the southern border, helping more immigrants come through and doing nothing to stop them, actually doing more to help more come through, while there's United States citizens that are suffering, that we could be using our tax dollars to help out.
And the fact that they haven't given more, it's like, but yet they're flying people around on airplanes that come in illegally through the border.
Yeah.
Just like, how much does that cost?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that program cost?
Exactly.
Like, what does that cost?
Multi-billions of dollars, if I had to guess. It's FEMA has other services. It's a lot of bureaucracy. It's a lot of paperwork, and residents on Maui, they were being...
If you enjoy content like this, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Told like, okay, well, hey, if you accept this kind of aid from FEMA, you are ceding some sense of your sovereignty or decision-making ability with regard to your land or your property, and all of the red tape essentially that caused a community who were rightfully skeptical about government coming in and saying, okay, well, we're going to help you, when that same...
It goes back to what Joe Rogan said during the whole when Tucker Carlson went on Joe Rogan's show, the Joe Rogan Experience, and he said we should ask questions about the government. We shouldn't trust anything the mainstream media or the government tells us just at face value. Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire took massive offense to that because they think you should just trust everything that the government tells you. Joe Rogan's response to Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire was that, what have they told the truth about? What reason do we have to trust them at all? Instead of me telling you what they've lied about, because we've listed off a ton of things that they either have confirmed lied about because they declassified it, or they won't declassify the stuff because they know that we will find out that they lied. We've told you a ton of those things. Now it's your turn to tell us one thing that they didn't lie about, that they told the 100% truth about. That's not some random, like, the sky is blue fact. That's actually an event. Tell us the truth about an event. Tell us the truth about these fires, about 9/11, about the moon landing, about all these events. Until we have that, until that's all declassified, then what do we have? Like, history repeats itself. And if, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, if you continue to trust the government completely and they continue to lie to you over and over and over again, kind of makes you an idiot. So what reason do we have to trust them? What have they told the truth about? It's a great question posed by Joe Rogan.
Government said, oh yeah, hey, we may at that time, and the governor said this, and then he corrected himself later on, but he's like, oh yeah, we're thinking about and talking about how we can turn this entire place, have the government take ownership of it and turn it into some kind of memorial or some kind of workforce housing, which obviously made people really freaking mad to say, like, well, who the hell are you to come in here and say you're just going to take our land? You're just going to take it and do what you want with it? So they're obviously very skeptical and rightfully so about, the fine print. What does it mean if I accept a few bucks here or there from the federal government? What power am I ceding to you to determine my future, the future of my family and our home?
And unfortunately, the rest of the country has forgotten about it.
By and large, yeah.
And it's sad that our government is thinking of themselves as like a negotiator or a salesman or like the Wolf of Wall Street. It's like, you're supposed to take our tax dollars and use them to better the country, especially when in times of emergency and really, really horrific things happening to a large portion of people. Go ahead and help them with our tax dollars. Like, go help them. Don't send them a one-time payment of $700. And they think of themselves as like the Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you this money to help you out, but we're going to put in the fine print that your house and your land now belongs to us, and we're going to put government housing here or whatever the hell. It's sad that that's what our government is nowadays. Like, our government views themselves as like these salesmen and these negotiators that they want to put in the fine print, that they only want to help people when it benefits them. That's why they're funding these wars and funding these people coming through the borders and stuff like that, because they know it's going to eventually help them in their agenda. They have no interest in the betterment of the country, just selflessly. It's all for selfish reasons. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this clip here from the Joe Rogan Experience between Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard just destroying the woke government, and how bad it's really gotten on the woke cult side of things. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this whole Joe Rogan Experience clip.